this very moment, millions of people across every continent are repeating the exact same phrase, Allahu Akbar. But where was the specific historical moment when the order to declare this greatness was first issued to the world? To find the answer, we have to travel back to 7th century Mecca, to a time before any public mission existed. Muhammad was already experiencing the weight of divine revelation, but the intensity of the experience was physically exhausting. Seeking refuge from the overwhelming spiritual burden, he would wrap himself tightly in a heavy cloak. He held the internal conviction of a prophet, but the instruction to engage the world around him remained withheld. He possessed the truth, but his work was still entirely private. The transition to public life began with a single direct revelation, Surah al-Middasir. The opening verses contained a sharp command that allowed for no more retreat. "O you enveloped in garments, arise and warn." These words forced him into a new role. He was no longer a solitary seeker. He was now the leader of a public movement with a specific mandate to challenge the society around him. The risks were immediate. Waraka bin Naufal, a scholar of the time, confirmed the authenticity of the message, but gave a sobering warning. Those who bring such truths are always met with hostility by their own people. Standing up meant ending his isolation. It was a declaration that the status quo of Mecca was no longer acceptable. This new mission was built on a protocol known as inzar, the Arabic concept of warning. Inzar is a rational appeal to human accountability. It argues that because humanity did not create itself, every person is ultimately responsible to their creator for the way they have lived. This message posed a direct threat to the ruling elite. By demanding ultimate accountability to a higher power, it dissolved the worldly hierarchies that kept the powerful in control. Through inzar, religion moved away from being a passive tradition. It became a mechanism that placed every individual on an equal moral footing. The second instruction was takbir, the active, physical establishment of God's greatness in daily life. We see how this concept was engineered into the faith through the mechanics of a standard 4-part prayer. During this sequence, there are exactly 22 distinct physical movements, from standing to bowing to prostrating. Every transition is performed while reciting Allahu Akbar. This repetition creates a level of global synchronization where millions of people are physically embodying the same declaration of divine authority. The specific language used, whether the English God, the Persian Khuda, or the Arabic Allah, matters less than the functional intent, ensuring the highest honor is directed only to the Creator. Takbir acts as a recurring psychological anchor. It is designed to consistently override human ego with the reality of absolute divine greatness. Muhammad launched this mission in Mecca as a mature man of 40. We see a parallel 6 centuries earlier in Jerusalem, when Jesus began his work as a young man of 25. Despite their age difference, both messengers used the same logic of absolute accountability to challenge the religious establishment of their day. Both men were met with the same result: fierce and immediate rejection from the powerful clerics who viewed this direct message as a threat to their own authority. This pattern reveals a consistent historical rule. A messenger is validated not by how quickly the elite accept them, but by the intensity of the resistance they face. The original revelation also included a mandate for the physical self, the command to maintain pure and clean clothing. This emphasis on physical hygiene was a rejection of false asceticism. It countered the idea that neglecting one's body or wearing filthy garments was somehow a sign of spiritual depth. By linking spiritual intention with rational physical conduct, the mission provided a complete and practical framework for life. This clarity ensured the message remained resilient and grounded even as it moved beyond its original borders. Because these principles were so clearly defined, they eventually bypassed the ancient gatekeepers who once tried to stop them. Today, those original commands travel through modern digital networks, making the call to accountability and greatness accessible to anyone with an internet connection. The instruction given to an overwhelmed man in a cloak 14 centuries ago has achieved its design. It has evolved into a permanent, global reality that requires no human permission to spread.